We're popping out to Transmission Gully where Crispy's out there with his gummies on and his raincoat. First time he's had the raincoat out for this year to tell us just what's happening down on in the gully. Morning, Crispy.
Good morning, Nige. And yes, it's wet in the gully. That is not surprising because I think it's pretty much wet everywhere we go. But where we are is chatting about the roads because, funnily enough, there's an awful lot of things that are happening on the roads, and we need to actually find out how things are changing. So probably one of the first things, well, I better introduce my guest because I've got Desiree. Now, what's your official title?
The traffic manager for the Transmission Gully Project.
So the whole lot?
The whole lot.
Very cool. How do you get a job like that?
Just being in the industry for a while and having experience.
Fantastic stuff. Okay, so let's get going because at the moment, as people are heading, say, into Wellington or out of Wellington, particularly when they're going past the Linden area where all the roadworks are happening, you've got one side of the motorway has a 70k speed limit and the other side has an 80k temporary speed limit. How come?
So when we were looking at the northbound area, which has the 70k speed limit, with the construction constraints, so building the piers for the bridges, the curves on the road, there are sightline distance issues. So to make it safe for people to navigate the curves that we've got, the speed had to be put down at 70 k's.
But the other side doesn't have as many curves, so it still can stay at 80.
Correct.
Nice and easy. All right, so as far as the next things that we wanted to talk about, temporary speed limits are in place, also going up through, say, Sangsu Corner at Pawatahanui and Paikakariki, sorry. Why is that?
So again, that we've got people going to be working adjacent to the road very soon. So in order for them to work safely, and also the lanes are going to be slightly narrower, so travelling public can safely travel through the area. The workers can work safe, so we kept it at 80 k's.
Okay. Now, also I hear in that same area, we're going to be perhaps being diverted onto part of the new expressway again.
Correct. So in order for us to build the main alignment, we're going to switch traffic or slightly veer them off onto some new construction, and it'll come back out at the Whareroa Road on-ramp again, and that's due mid this year.
Ooh, mid this year, very exciting. Now, if we can just come back down to around the Linden area. Now, there's a bridge there at Linden that you're doing some pretty trick stuff with. So you're building one part, knocking up part of the old stuff out and then building it again. So is this going to change how we actually drive in and on the motorway?
Yes, so what you'll find again in mid this year, we've got a lot coming up in the middle of the year. So southbound will be shifted far left, and you will travel on the new bridge. As soon as that happens, the current bridge will get demolished and start to be built. And then next year, the northbound traffic will be shifted far left to go onto that new bridge, so we can do the final construction.
Wow, that's such tricky stuff. And I guess it's just really to keep traffic flowing with the least amount of disruption.
Yes, that's right. So we have a high focus on ensuring that the public are travelled or can travel with the least amount of disruption. So even though we've got temporary speeds, at a smooth, consistent space, they will be able to get from A to B in relatively the same time.
Now, with weather like today, this is a little bit out of left field, but with weather like today, is that proving any other additional things that people need to think of when they're driving through your work sites?
We tend to not do as much work, so there won't be things happening around you, but weather like this does have some visibility issues, and being in between barriers that can kind of deter people, so keeping to the speed limit is the key.
Actually, I did notice as I was driving down, some of the concrete barriers, they tend to make large puddles as well. So I guess people need to watch out for those in case they get aquaplaned and that sort of thing. Yeah,
so we've been through and tried to, there's holes at the bottom to help drain, but when there's huge waterfalls, it just doesn't drain fast enough, so you can get surface flooding.
There you go. That's all the way it needs to be. Heard it from the lady who knows. Desiree, thank you so much. We'll be talking to Desiree again a little bit later on in the year, I'm sure, as these changes happen towards the middle of the year. So make sure that you check out the website for And we actually ask motorists to take care when driving through construction areas and to please obey all temporary speed limits that are in place. They are there for your safety. So if you want to go and check things out, you can always jump onto the NZTA website and just have a look and see what the work is doing, because there's actually really neat pictures up about Transmission Gully as well. Out and about in the rain, I'm Crispy for Beach FM 106.3.